Hello, 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 everybody, and welcome back to the Round 11 podcast. We are here. It's episode 3, I believe, of season 2, and we are coming fresh, hot off of Super Week. And I mean, we got a lot of stuff to go ahead and talk about this week. But before we get into any of that, as always, I'm Cruisin' Spaz, joined alongside me, Mr. T.S. Chance, The Real Toxic, and Zarin Cod, three beautiful, wonderful people. How are you guys doing today?
Doing good.
Great.
Absolutely fantastic.
Zarin, I'm excited that you're back here again. We got into it last week. We'll see if we get back into it again this week. It's what the people want. But you know what else the people want? The people want power rankings. And we got our power rankings coming in later on tonight as well as a couple other segments going on the show tonight. We're going to talk about the standings after Super Week. We're going to go and we're going to break down the bracket a little bit. Not give our predictions away yet because that will be in an episode later this week. And then we're going to do a little segment on it, whether we're buying in or selling out on some rosters, and then go into our power rankings, of course, as always. But we can kind of kick things off now. I'm going to throw us over to the standings after Super Week. So coming in at number 1, the only 5-0 team, Atlanta FaZe. Right behind them at number 2, Optic Chicago. And then we got Dallas and Thieves coming in tied at second, but in third and fourth, with the respective map counts sitting at all at 40 CDL points. And I mean, not too much really surprise there. And then if we continue on there, it's the Subliners and Minnesota both sitting at fifth at 3 and 2. You have Paris and Gorillas both sitting at 2 and 3, and then 9th through 12th you've got Toronto, Florida, Seattle, and London sitting at 1 and 4, and then London sitting at 0 and 5. So not really too many shockers there. If I'm being too honest myself, I think we all expected Atlanta to go 5-0 or opt to go 5-0 this week. If we're being totally honest, I think the one thing that stands out for me the most there is the Thieves falling to fourth. They were in number 1 all the way through, except for the last match today, which they got 3-0'd by Dallas. And they kind of got smacked. I kind of want to talk about that match a little bit because that was probably one of the bigger ones that we could go into a little bit here. So we can talk about that a little bit here. So I think Dallas looked really, really good in that match. They looked shaky this week, though, I will say, but they were able to hold off, get a couple of their wins. But I mean, New York played Dallas better than LA played Dallas. That's for sure.
Paris played, but was it London or Paris that played Dallas this week? I think it was London, right?
Yeah, well, that's not what we're talking about right now, but yeah.
No, I was just gonna say they played them well too. I was gonna say, out of all the teams.
Honestly, like this was a big telling match for both teams here. Obviously, LA sitting at 4-0, trying to get to that 5-0 mark to be up there with Atlanta. Dallas they showed why they're a better team, and we'll get into it in a bit, but I have Dallas up in my power rankings, and this is the exact reason why. They had a couple rough matches. London was very weird to see them get pushed to a game 5, and again with the New York Subliners. But Dallas is just such a good team. They clearly figured something out for this last match on Sunday night.
They looked like they were playing with a lot more passion too on Sunday.
Exactly, and they looked like the championship winning team we saw just a few months back. So, I mean, I'm not surprised from this result at all. I think LA Thieves are a very good team, but Dallas is up there, right there with Optic and Atlanta, and they're showing it.
I mean, I will say I don't think I was expecting a 3-0 though. That was LA looked really good coming into this match, and quite the opposite for Dallas. I almost, not gonna lie, I almost did change my predictions again going in today, but I did that earlier in the week, and that fucked me over so bad in terms of our prediction pool. So I think the only person who hasn't gotten a chance to speak on this yet is James. So James, if you want to give me your thoughts on the match.
Yeah, I honestly thought Dallas was going to do better, and I thought Thieves were going to do better than they already were doing against Dallas. Because I had Thieves taking it 3-2, and obviously that is not how it turned out. And I still think, to an extent, Thieves played really good, but Dallas really turned it up when they needed to. Same with the Royal Ravens match. I think they really showed kind of why they deserve to kind of still have that respect on their name after winning champs last year. But I'm glad to see them kind of picking up the pace rather than how they were playing last week.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And honestly, like we were saying, like it was a really good week of COD, man. I was really happy to be able to see most of the matches. And if I didn't catch the matches, I was watching them later in the nights because we do have work and stuff like that. But I kind of want to throw us over towards our prediction pool here, and just so everybody can get a little update on where our predictions are coming in at. So currently sitting in at number 1, we actually have our good friend here, Mr. Justin. A little bit of a shocker, not gonna lie. See Justin sitting in here at number 1. Zarin sitting at number 2 with 68 points, followed by me at 66. Zarin, you had a little bit of an off week this week.
Oh, dude.
Definitely not your best, but your first week held you in there at second place going into this week. James, you had a pretty good week going until that last matchup. You could have been bumped
I was
solely first place.
If I got that last match right, it would have been 0 points for y'all, 6 points for me, and I would have held the number 1 spot. But
and then if we're looking down. If we scroll all the way down to the bottom here, we got Mr. Zach down here at 46 points, having a tough time. Zach decided he was going to take the approach of, hey, let's pick the underdogs and catch up, and none of the underdogs won. I think that's the worst thing that you can do in pick'em pools.
It was Sunday, ending of Saturday, or it was Saturday and Sunday. I was like, yeah, let's just go. We're already behind. Let's see if I get some points. Unfortunately, it didn't work out.
I don't think Zach's ever played in a pick'em pool because, guys, if you know how to play a pick'em pool, that is not the strategy to go by all the time. Definitely not for all 3 games, that's for sure. Maybe you pick one here and there, but like, man, some of those. What was the one that you called that was just wild? There was one that was like.
Was it the Seattle versus LA?
No, I have to pull it up. Keep going. I know
there was one that Zach had, and I saw it, and I was just like, "There is no way this kid thinks this is gonna happen." I mean, I think one thing that we can kind of talk about while we're just kind of going over things right now is Toronto. Toronto looked really disappointing this week. I was really hopeful for them, and I still don't think they're a bad team. But man, did these guys choke series after series this week?
Yeah, they really did.
Holy fuck, dude! I'm so disappointed in Toronto. Okay, going into this week, of course you got Atlanta, then you got Chicago, 2 series that they should not have won, and they didn't, as expected. They put up a decent fight, 3-1 in both series, but they're not at that level yet, and they can't beat these good teams. But they can't beat any team right now.
Everything seems so inconsistent. Everything.
The middle of map 4 against the Paris Legion was one of the worst fucking collapses I've seen in a very long time. That was just awful. I mean, Aqua, gotta give credit to him. He was the best player in that series by far. It wasn't even close. But I think they were 28 points away or something like that in the game 4 hard point. I think Paris ended up coming back from like 222 to like 160, I want to say. And they just destroyed Toronto in the last 3-4 hills and ended up winning that game. And I knew then, like, no shot they were going to win that game.
And they're coming off the awesome search, especially with Methods having the ace.
Oh yeah, 6-0 and an ace in round 6, and they lose. Like,
you're using that momentum to go and just obliterate Paris. Going to the control, be like, we're going to finish it right here.
Yeah, and I mean, if we want to talk about inconsistent really quick in terms of Toronto was widely respected as the best hardpoint team coming into this. They've lost multiple hardpoints by like, what was it? It was like 10 or less seconds. They lost multiple hardpoints by. They're sitting at 4-6 overall hardpoint record right now. Search and Destroy, which they were top 3 search team last year. They're sitting at 4-3 right now at search, and then Control, they're sitting at 1-4 in. So I mean. Yeah. Not a good start for our boys down up north here.
I think this week was kind of just a wake up call for them for going forward. It's like, it's going to be a lot more competitive this year.
It just seemed like it was the clutch factor, to be honest, that they just didn't have.
Fuck a wake up call, okay? Because you cannot be losing to a team like LA Gorillas right now. They are maybe the worst team in the league next to London. You cannot even let them have a map. If you want to be considered a top 5, top 4 team, you cannot let a team like the Gorillas fucking beat you, especially in hardpoint and a search and destroy.
Yeah, but they have a top 2 sub on their team though.
Yeah, fucking that clearly that was a difference maker.
And Jesse, to bring up my prediction pool back again,
sorry, go ahead.
I believe it was the crazy one. Was I put in the marquee matchup. I said, screw it. Let's do London winning the match.
Over who?
Over Rocker.
Oh, it doesn't matter because they're 0-5, not looking good at all either.
Yep.
What's sad is Parasite looks like the best player on that fucking team right now. He might be playing for stats, low key, but like he's playing better than a lot of the players on that team.
Right now, 1 week in, he's playing for next year's roster mania.
You're not,
That's what it's looking like.
but
He's
he's
like,
playing good though. That's the thing. Like he's
I've
actually
been
playing
really,
good.
I've been really hard on Parasite over the years, but like definitely him coming into the league the way he has and stepping up the way he has, regardless of the win or loss, he's definitely been proving himself the past few weeks.
Oh my god. All right. Well, to kind of keep us moving along because we do try to keep these things under an hour here. I'm just gonna throw up the bracket for the first major, which will be starting on Wednesday this upcoming week, and it's gonna be Optic taking on New York in round one. That should be a really good matchup there. I'm interested to see those two teams play against each other. New York's looked really good. Optics looked really good, so I think that'll be a good one. Then you got the Thieves and the Gorillas. The Gorillas somehow sneaking into third in Group B. So they're going to be there as well. And then getting the first round bye, it's going to be the Empire and FaZe. And then if you look down at the elimination bracket, starting in losers, you're going to have Seattle going up against the Florida Mutineers. Winner of that will play Legion in round two. And then the Ultra going up against Ravens. Winner of that playing Minnesota in round two. And I don't think if you're either of those teams, you really want to be playing Minnesota in round two.
No.
Yeah, it's gonna be major's gonna be fun week of COD. Like we just had Super Week going to the major.
It's basically another Super Week.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun week of COD.
Yeah, I don't really have a whole lot to say. I think Dallas is gonna win the whole damn thing. Obviously, we'll touch on that later in the week, but I think they're in such a great position to win this tournament.
You think Dallas, really?
Yeah, I think so.
I actually I got a little bit of a sleeper pick coming out. I think for our for this week, but like we said, we'll get into that a little bit later this week. I think we'll tease them with it now, and we'll hit them with it later.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? But I mean, I guess we can kind of move into it a little bit here as well. We've kind of just overall, what do you guys think so far of the league? How have you guys been enjoying everything? Are you guys excited for the major? I'll start with you, James. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think they're doing fantastic with the cards they've been dealt. Obviously, with COVID and having to make it all virtual, I think they've done a really good job of that. Surprisingly enough, they've had less technical difficulties this first week in this first Super
Because
Week
they switched to PC
than they did during the the Minnesota Homestead,
Yeah,
the first LAN event.
I can almost put that completely on going to PC though, dude. Just the amount of like, it's so much easier for them to run everything from that end.
But yeah, I definitely think they've been doing a great job with what they've got.
Yeah, no, just to piggyback off that, like it's with the cards they were dealt, the league, it's doing a great job, and I think with 4v4 back in the game, it's 10 times more competitive than it was with 5v5, and like we saw it this week with some teams upsetting others. Like it's good Call of Duty to watch again.
Yeah.
I gotta say, a lot of people were nervous with the franchising and everything like that. I mean, I think last year we can ultimately call a success with how they had to adapt to the online atmosphere. Despite the stream delays and whatnot, some poor management choices, let's say, for some matches, of course, with that whole Octane thing. But I think overall, like in the grand scheme of things, they've done such a fantastic job. I would love to see a CDL bubble for COD champs. I think that would be just awesome to watch. But I've heard rumors that that's a possibility, but the chances probably not very likely.
I think the only gripe that a lot of people right now are having with online as well is that they're practicing on different servers than what they're playing on. So that's like the big thing that everybody's complaining because they're getting different spawns. Because the servers are ticking faster, so the servers are able to find these kind of emergency type spawns, and you can notice that stuff a lot more, especially in 4v4 over 5v5. I don't know if you agree with that as well, but like I think like casting 4v4 I found a lot easier than 5v5 especially as well.
The thing with sorry Zach, I just wanted to say real quick, like for anybody that doesn't know, these CDL matches are being played on 60 hertz servers, where like us playing just pubs or a different custom game mode, whatever it is, we're playing on 12. So 12 to 60 when
and they practice on 20 on custom games.
Yeah, when you're at the highest level, that is a huge difference. That is a massive difference, and it completely changes the game. But so far, I mean, we've heard Krim complain about it before, just a few days ago. But like, it's no one seems to be really having a big problem with it.
What a great interviewee Crimsix is, I will
Yeah.
say.
Yeah, bring it up the player, forming a players union.
I mean, that's been in the works for a while, I think, though.
No, I know, but him not even talking about the match. Say he's so give us spawns, player union.
Oh my
It's
god,
hap-
when they popped his stats up on the screen and he's
What
like
are you doing?
he's like, how dare you cut away from me?
and Miles just go, it's just your stats. We're just showing you.
Oh
He's
my
like,
god.
okay, that's fine.
Speaking of Miles, man,
I'm gonna just piggyback off what Zarin said, and it was just like if you go, I think it was the Dallas game where they went into the Astro game listening, and you can hear, I think it was Illy. He's like, I don't know where anybody, I don't know where they're spawning. I don't know where they are.
that was today. Yeah,
You hear it that like they're still like they're trying to still adapt to how different the different it is.
yeah. I think the funniest moment of the whole weekend though had to have been Miles and his call out of they've killed people for showing magic like that on I can't remember his name now, but yeah, Asim, yeah, bro. Oh my god, and speaking of players who've been playing unreal, Asim has been absolutely a difference maker for New York this week especially.
Yeah, and I mean, I think if you're going to pick two MVPs of the week, it's got to be Aqua and Asim. I mean, those two guys were just like,
single-handedly carrying their teams.
Aqua was the sole reason why Paris did so well this week. We'll talk about them in a little bit, but Aqua was so damn good. I got to give credit to him because I had him chalked after last year. I thought no fucking chance he's on a pro team.
I didn't think he was on a pro team this year either.
Yeah. But here he is.
Surprised
and he's
us.
probably Paris' best player. Yeah.
Him or Scraps? Scraps has been really good too, honestly.
Scraps turned his game around, and I was gonna say, Jesse, you like before the year started, you said if Paris wanted to do anything, Fire had to start going off, and Fire actually played really well this week too.
Yeah, Paris surprised me as a whole this week. That's for sure. Winning 2 matches, and I mean it was Florida and Toronto, but still it was.
They took FaZe to a game 5 as well.
They took FaZe to game 5. Yeah.
All the games are close. It's like one round goes the other way. They were winning that series.
Yeah, and I think they stole the first hard point, didn't they? I think they won. They said like a crazy stat on stream. I can't fully remember, but I think it was 6 straight. I think it was 6 straight hard points they won by under 66 points combined. So
they won that first hard point. 250 to 249.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
But yeah, that's just a little bit of a recap kind of for everybody on how the week went and things to look out for. I think we're gonna get in a little bit of a fun segment here, and we're gonna kind of buy in or sell out on rosters right now. We're gonna go kind of off just a few here, and I want to get your guys' opinion. So first one, we're gonna go with Seattle Surge. I want to know your guys' thoughts. 1-4 in the league right now, 6-14 map record. Zarin, you were also excited to see this team coming in. Are we buying in or are we selling out on this roster right now?
It is. This is one of the weirdest teams in the league because they are so unbelievably inconsistent with how they play. Sometimes they get destroyed. Sometimes they look like they can be a top 4 team. I'm just gonna rent this team. Okay, I'm not.
That is not an answer.
No, I'm not gonna buy it. I'm not gonna sell it. I'm just gonna rent.
So you're sticking with them for another event?
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I don't think this major is really fair. Them starting in the losers bracket. If they win, okay, maybe I'll start to look to buy.
All right.
But right now I'm just renting on Seattle.
Okay, you know what? That's fine. We'll add a little rent feature in here. We'll say maybe until next event. We'll give them until that will be our rent feature. Zach, give it to me.
First tournament.
I gotta kind of agree with Zarin on it. Like I'm sitting in that kind of rent because I need to see more out of the Surge. Like I don't think like on paper they don't have a bad team. They have a good Surge team on paper. I think it's like I just need to see more out of them. Like we all know what Octane can do. We've seen glimpses of the old Pristini. I think it's just like with the hand that they've been dealt and just how they've been playing isn't who they actually are. So I think I can go rent right now.
Yeah, I've got my opinion on this one, but I want to hear James first before we go any further.
So right now, I was kind of going to say what Zach says. On paper, this should be a great team. But so right now, I'm going to buy into them, but I'm giving them till the tournament. All right, I put my down payment. Like, okay, I put my deposit. And if they perform like they should be and find their groove together, they get the rest of the money. But other than that, I'm technically buying into them.
All right. Well, I'm gonna make things spicy. I'm selling out on this team. Not a fan of this Seattle team right now. I was excited to see them coming into the year. I don't think Looney and Pristini are a good enough sub duo to compete with the sub duos in this game right now. That's just personal opinion. I really like Pristini. I really like Looney. I just don't think that their sub duo works really well together. I think that Pristini is way too fast of a player for Looney. Personally, I don't know how you guys feel about that, but I feel like they have a really bad pacing problem right now, and that's what's causing them to lose a lot of their respawns. And they look okay in search, but I mean, you're not going to win off of just search and destroy alone. You need to be able to pick up respawns.
Yeah.
No, you make fair points. Yeah.
That is.
I agree. I think Looney right now, Jesse, is just being forced into a role that he's not.
He's
with.
running engineer right now, dude. Like
he can't. It's not what he does. Maybe in Advanced Warfare where he could be that aggressive sub player, get in your face. He's not at that level right now or anymore.
I also
say.
think Pristini would be a lot better on an AR. Weirdly enough, I think Pristini would be a lot better on XM4 in this game.
I can't even disagree, and I feel like Gunless, the way he plays, I feel like maybe try him out on a sub. Maybe after this major, you hit the reset button and try to figure out these roles. I mean, Seattle did it last year. They put Octane on a sub for a tournament.
Yeah, that was.
I'm
wild.
not saying they should do that.
I never want to see that again. Octane actually, I think solely out of this whole team too, is Octane actually impressed me a little bit more this week than he was going into this week. He played a lot better this week, I will say.
At a point, you gotta mix it up.
If you want to dive into something more, Octane was the only player on the team that had over a 1.0 on hardpoint.
Yeah. So I mean, so there you go. So what is that? That's 1 sellout and 3 rent in, pretty much.
I bought in.
Oh, you're a slight buy-in. You're a down payment in. Moving on, I want to go to Toronto Ultra here. Are we buying in or are we selling out? I'm going to go first on this one. I'm buying into Toronto Ultra. I like this team. I still think this team could be really, really good. I think they're just playing very inconsistently right now. If they can figure out their control in that swing game, I think this team is a top 4 team, top 5 team tops.
Yeah, I'm agreeing. I'm buying in on this team. I think they just they played against Atlanta, Optic, and then the Legion. But obviously Legion isn't to what Optic and Atlanta are. I think they played against 2 powerhouses. They saw what they needed to fix against those powerhouses. They didn't address it, but I think coming out into the major, they're going to play a lot better than what they did this week.
Yeah, I've completely bought into Toronto. I think you got 4 great players. I think they play their roles really well. Obviously, they had mishaps this weekend, but based on the showing when things were going well, I'm completely in on them.
Yeah, I'm 100% bought into the Ultra team.
Really?
Big shocker, eh? Yeah. So I just think these 4 as a unit, they can definitely be a top 4 team, and I believe they will be in a few weeks. I mean, Kleenex struggled pretty badly this week
against the top teams, especially.
Yeah, I was disappointed to see that. He's such a talented player, and he's of course still young, so he's gonna find his way. I'm confident in that, and everybody else just gels so well. This Toronto team is very, very, very good. They just need to work out their kinks, work out their problems under pressure, and they'll be fine. They were extremely frustrating to watch this week, but they have a good shot to run up this losers bracket next weekend.
And I think to kind of go off of what you were saying, I think with Kleenex, I think the biggest problem with him right now is Kleenex is a great player, especially when you can just let him run rampant on the map. But the problem with that is when you're playing against the likes of the subduo of of Scump and Envoy and Simp and Abizi, they're not going to let you do that. You got to figure out your own type of pacing to play against players like that because you can't just run straight at them the entire time. It's not going to work.
Yeah.
Speaking of Abizi, wow, that guy is insane at this game, I will just say. He has been unreal. All right, moving on to in our little buy-in sellout session here. Paris Legion, are you guys buying in or are you selling out? They have looked really good this week.
Yeah. I think I've bought into them. They did look really well against the teams that they played. I think Scraps did better than some people were expecting because there's been some disrespect on his name the past over the off season. I think he held his own, but Aqua definitely held it well for the team. So I'm on in them.
Yeah, I think I'm with you there, James. I like how Legion looked this week, and I think this is the team that we can see more often than not. I'm buying into this team. I liked how Scraps played. Aqua, like you guys have been saying, he looked great this week for Paris, and I think Fire's coming around as well. So I'm buying into this team.
I
It's another hard one. It's a hard one, sir.
It is. You know what? Paris really impressed me. They really, really impressed me this week. I am not gonna buy into them, however. I don't think they can keep it up. This is gonna be a big test. If they can make a nice little losers bracket run here next weekend, then I'll buy. I'm gonna have to hit that rent button again. I hate to do it twice, but with this team, I'm just not fucking buying what they're doing right now. I don't think it'll continue, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think I gotta agree with you on that one. I can't buy in on this team yet, and I can't sell it on them yet. I think it's got to be a hit that rent button right now. Paris looks good, but I think that they are gonna find a lot of inconsistencies. It looks like they might be playing as well a little bit ahead of where some of the other teams are in terms of teamwork. So once these other teams that are towards the bottom start to catch up, we've seen it last year, but once these teams start to catch up, that's when I start to get a little bit worried as a Paris Legion fan, especially. This one, I think I know the answer to this one, but I want to talk about it. I want to hear what you guys think could be a good resolve to this one as well. So we're going to go with the London Royal Ravens. All right. I'm going to sell out on this team. I'm not a fan of it. I think if I was these guys, I think they made huge mistakes in the offseason in terms of the people who they let go and who they kept. I think letting go Scraps and Waskins, who were probably your best two and most consistent players on your team in terms of being good throughout multiple CODs, was a mistake. I think if you kept those two players and you kept Zero and Shawnee, I think you would have had a much better team than what you have right now, or even let go of Zero and keep Dylan instead. You keep Dylan and Scraps as your subs, and you've got Shawnee and Waskins as your ARs. I think this team would be a lot better right now than what they look right now, especially. So I don't know, and it's just tough, man, especially because they don't have Zero here, so we don't really know how they would have looked. But I can't imagine that it would have been much different if I'm being completely honest.
I think they're a better team with Zero in the lineup. Obviously, Parasite's done great. Look, James said it before. Like I'm hard on him, just like he is. But I gotta give him credit. He's played well. He's fit in very nicely. It's just the support around him hasn't been great, and I just don't know what the team dynamic is like. I think with Zero in the lineup, they are a better team. But to see Alex, I don't know. He was very up and down last year. He wasn't very impressive.
He had really bad hand injuries too, didn't he? Forced him to miss time. I don't know. I honestly don't know how he got a starting spot in the league with that.
I don't know either. I think he's a solid substitute player for sure, but to be a starter on a top 12 team in the world I don't really think that's great. Honestly, I would pick up Weskin ASAP if I was London and try to fit him into the lineup.
There's a lot of really good sub-AMs too.
So I'm gonna sell. I'm selling.
Yeah, I'm on board with you guys to sell this team. It's tough to see look at a team and want to buy them when through 3 game modes you have everyone dropping under a 1.0 and only Shawnee and Hardpoint dropping over 1.0. I think you guys made great points about Alex, and like I would if I was London, I would be picking up Waskins in a heartbeat. I think if Zero was on this team, they're a lot better than what they are. But yeah, I need to sell on this team.
I'm selling out solely on the point of them dropping Waskins. I think that was one of their biggest mistakes.
Literally their best player all last year.
Like, and fortunately, Scraps got on it. What's
that?
Well,
they dropped him before he left. He went to a different team because they dropped him.
Scraps. Well, yeah,
right.
But it's like Scraps was fortunate enough to get on another team. Waskins wasn't, and I don't think he belongs as a content creator. He's not even playing challengers or anything. He's not even playing challengers. So for that reason alone, I'm out. I'm selling out.
No, I couldn't agree with that one more. Now, this one's the really, really interesting one. I kept this one to last because I want to know your guys' opinions on this one. Hydra flying over from Europe. He's coming to the States. He's quarantining. He's going to be ready to go shortly. Are you guys buying in or selling out on this New York Subliners team? Or do you guys think that Hydra needs to make his way into this roster?
He needs to make his way into the roster. Sorry, someone else can go.
No, go ahead, please. Buy it. So you're selling out on the roster when Hydra comes?
If
he's on his way.
Yeah, I know he's on his way, but like once he's on it, I think I am. I'm selling out because New York has made such good improvements from the beginning of the season to how they played during Super Week.
But
I don't think you
who do you
I don't
drop
think you
though?
mess with it. You don't. You let Hydra be like, hey, sorry, bud, but like this is working out.
He's
I
French.
mean,
He's gonna come in like that.
yeah, like I'm not comparing anyone to like LeBron James or something, but if like LeBron James comes in your team, you're like, and then the original starter comes in, you don't swap out LeBron. You say, all right, sorry, this is working for us. We're not going to shoot ourselves in the foot. We're going to keep what's going forward, and if it stops working, then we'll think about a change.
So wait, I'm confused as to what you're saying. So wait, are you saying like that you would put Hydra in if he comes, or you're not going
No,
to?
no, sorry. No, I was saying whoever, if you missed your spot, if you had a spot on that roster, and whatever happened in your control or out of your control, that it doesn't matter. The team has to do what's best for them. And if whatever they're doing now without you is working, you should be humble and not mess with it. Even if you think you can add to it, you let them try it and see what they can make of it.
I right now with the roster they have, the four, I'm buying. I agree with your point. If Hydra comes and they take someone out, that's when I'm selling the roster. But right now, I'm buying. I probably Modern Warfare last year was one of the biggest New York fans. Like I was always the one that had them highest on the list among the four of us. But I really like this roster, and I think Clayster leading this team, especially Diamond Con and Mac, like they're only gonna get better. And I think we saw a little glimpse of what they can do with just some coaching from Clayster. So with this roster, I am buying in.
Well, you don't fix what ain't broke, as they say.
Go.
And same thing as what James said. You don't mess with this lineup right now. They are probably a top four team at the current moment. Top five for sure. But this team right now is just clicking. They've looked so much better this week. Obviously, a heartbreaking loss to Dallas that they should have won. They had 3 chances to win that series and blew it. So I don't know what went wrong there. But overall, this team has really improved. They look like a force. I think any bottom feeding team doesn't stand a chance against New York. Um, you put Hydra into the lineup at this point, it's just going to harm the team. He may be a better player. You would think Diamond Con would be the guy to come out since he was brought on as a sub. That's the guy I'm taking out. Asim played is out of his mind this week. Mac is just Mac, and Clayster, you're not going to take him out. He's been so good too. I think Diamond Con is a guy you take out. I don't support it if they do. If they shit the bed this week, fine, whatever. Make the change, do your thing, but I honestly, I would be absolutely shocked if they put him in the lineup right away. I don't think it's a good idea. I'm buying.
All right. I'm also buying in.
Let's go.
I think that New York, I like this team a lot, actually. I don't agree with you. I think if anybody goes, I think it's going to be Mac. I think Diamond Con has asserted himself as a top. This game is a 2 AR game, and Diamond Con has asserted himself as a great fucking second AR. He is so good. I loved watching him play in the challengers, and watching him play here, I'm liking him even more. I think under Clayster's guidance, he's turned great already. He's just going to get better. Mac has been a little bit underwhelming this year. He hasn't been bad, but he hasn't been great either. Asim has been unreal so far in this game as well. So it's like it's going to be so tough to see them drop him. I think what they do with Hydra, he comes over, you make him play through the gauntlet, put him in challengers, make him run up some challengers on your challengers because they have their academy team. I think you put him in there and you see what he can do. He's got to prove himself though before he can get put into the roster, in my opinion. So
I will
I'm
add to
right
that
there with
really
you guys.
quick. Do you mess with your academy team? Their academy team just won the challengers.
Yeah, probably.
So it's like
they probably
so it's
will.
like
They have him
if
under
anything,
contract. They're going to.
Yeah, I'm thinking. I think Clay's obviously Clay enough and vet enough to where if they want to make a change as far as putting him in on the main roster, at least before he's ready for it, he's gonna stand up and be like, no, we're not gonna do this.
I think the other thing too is with like you were saying about the academy roster. Yes, they are winning, but Hydra is like I hate to use this word, but he's basically looks like one of those generational talents. He is unreal. So I would like to see him come over. I'd like to see them slot him in for one of their subs on their academy team. If you've seen what this guy's doing in the European Challenger scene right now, it is like he is far and beyond the best player in that scene, and he's gonna come over and he'll be one of the top players in the North America Challenger scene, no doubt in my mind.
Yeah.
Zared, I know you watch a lot more challengers as well, so like I don't know if you agree with that or not, but
Yeah, I mean, obviously he'd be a great addition to other teams. There's always those bubble teams that are looking for that extra push to get over the edge. I don't think anybody's beating Subliners Academy right now. They look very, very good.
Wester, dude.
Saints in that squad. Wester also good, but I mean they lost. They lost to a more experienced team. As good as they've been, I mean Saints is
that
just
first cup
running
was
up
really
challenges
good.
right now, man.
That first cup was, yeah, I know. You
Yeah.
think Saints is gonna get back to the league next?
I think so too. I honestly, if I'm London, store, hey, we got a spot for you. Come our way.
Yeah, maybe. We might just have to see it. But guys, I think
don't
it's
know.
time now. We're around 35 minutes in, so we might have to rip through our power rankings pretty quickly here. But I don't think that's going to be a problem. I think a lot of us have quite similar looking power rankings. But it's time. We're going to hop into our power rankings now. I really like that buy-in, sell-out segment. I quite enjoyed that, I will say. I'm going to kick it off. I'm going to throw us right into this damn one. At number 12, it's hard to put them anywhere else. I got the London Royal Ravens coming in at number 12. You can't put them anywhere else. You're 0-5. You are not playing great. Number 12.
Agreed. Number 12. That's all.
Number 12.
Numero dos.
All right, who's number 11?
I was just going to say, I really don't think there's much to talk about, considering all of what we have just talked about before. I mean, I can go over my number 11 first, I guess. And I think this one might be a little bit shocker. I did have them at number 7 last week. So dropping 4 spots from number 7. I got the Florida Mutineers coming in at number 11. I'm not impressed with this team. I think these guys, actually, I think maybe we should have done a buy-in and sell it on these guys, because I would have been selling out, I think, honestly. I think they need to make a roster change. I'm not too big on them. I don't even know who I would take out on them. Slack has been okay in some maps and not great in other maps. Maybe this could be your opportunity to be a team where you play him for search and destroy, and you play somebody else in respawn. I don't know. This team's been pretty underwhelming, though, for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree. I have them at 10, but honestly, they could be 11. I could probably put them at 11. They're just not impressive. All the points you made, I 100% agree with. Definitely selling on this team. They need to make a change. They need some help, and I don't think Slack is the answer right now. I think he's one of the big issues on that team.
Yeah, for Florida, for me, I have them at number 9, but it's not because I think they're a better team. I kind of just like my 9 to 11. They're all interchangeable in my opinion. Like right now, it's London. Like 12 in London, they're holding that spot at 0-5 until they win a map and they look good as a team. They're not moving from 12. 11 and 9 for me. I feel it's you can interchange them. So I just kind of slotted Florida in at number 9.
I have Florida in also at number 9. I think they can do a lot more than what they're showing, especially on the last day of competition today during Super Week. Awakening was just going off, and I think if all of them could reach their full potential,
I feel so bad for that man.
Yeah, he went. I can't remember what his checkmate number were on the S&D, but like he completely carried them and they lost. But I think if all of them can keep up with him and gain some momentum, that they could definitely move up on my list. But I have them at number 9.
Okay, really quickly before we move on from Florida, because we didn't really even get a chance to talk too much about them. I'm just gonna go over Awakening stats right quick. Awakening, and it's actually ridiculous. He has been playing so good. Like hardpoint, I can't actually. So his overall KD and hardpoint's a 1.0. It is what it is. Search and destroy though, he's sitting at a 1.09, which is really damn good. He's sitting at a 0.98 in control. So like respawn has not been the hottest, but this guy is sitting at a 27.7 first blood percentage right now. These guys have been in search and destroy, getting 8 first bloods out of their rounds and losing 6 of those 8 rounds. That can't happen. That cannot happen. They were talking about it on the CDL earlier. That absolutely cannot happen. You cannot be getting that many first bloods and losing.
Awakening has a 1.7 KD in S&D. The closest person to him is Simp at a 1.47. Like that just shows how out of his mind he's playing right now.
Yeah. Good old.
Absolutely.
I'm glad we
Minnesota
got.
or Florida needs to do better.
Yeah,
Just
I'm
too
glad we got two stats guys on the podcast because me and James don't get into that. We like to look at.
I go more based off of feeling.
Oh well, I,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just.
James,
I use
James is
stats to build off my points. I
Oh
don't
yeah,
know.
yeah.
That's just what I like
Okay,
to do.
Okay, stats guy. Anyway.
I mean, hey, yo, you've seen me in the CCL, dude. That's all I'm doing right now, too. When I'm casting color in the CCL right now, man, I'm throwing all my stats out
Yeah,
there.
you got to be that number cruncher.
Yo,
fucking-
somebody's got to do it. Nobody else does
Yeah.
it, so I'll do it, man. I'll start throwing up map percentages and shit, dude. That's all day, man. I love my
Do that.
stats. All right,
Yeah.
Zarin, give me your number 11.
Numero 11. I have the LA Gorillas. Flip flop them between Florida, Seattle. Like Zach said, I mean, 9 to 11 can be anybody. LA Gorillas. They beat Toronto. Give them credit, but I think that was more of a Toronto loss than a Gorillas win. If that makes any sense.
The only
Yeah,
thing I'm scared about that map is they beat them in both searches. And handily.
Yeah, which
handily.
is absolutely nuts. Toronto was undefeated in search coming into this week, and they got absolutely handled in search for the most part.
Maybe it could just be a case of teams watching their VODs.
True. They've definitely figured it out, whatever it is. LA Gorillas, they're not a good team. They're frustrating to watch. They're boring to watch,
Apathy?
to be honest. Apathy, he struggled this week, not going to lie. He had a good series against Toronto, but other than that, I mean, this team is just not fun to watch. They're not that good. I don't know.
You're done, eh? You're selling, eh?
I got
Oh, yeah.
was slotted in at number 10. Yeah, it's kind of similar things of what Zarin is saying. Like they didn't really impress me. That like they're not that fun to watch. I think out of all of them, Vivid kind of entertains me the most to watch. But yeah, and going on your point about the Toronto series, Zarin, I agree with you. I think Toronto shot themselves in the foot that entire series and kind of just handed the series win to the Gorillas. So
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
I have them slotted in at number 10.
I actually have the Grills at number 8, and the reason I have them there is because they were able to take full advantage of Toronto. Toronto had, out of all the matches they had this week, they had one that they needed to win, and they didn't, and it was against the Gorillas, and Gorillas took advantage of that. They got the win, and so they're actually slotted up a little higher than Toronto.
I've got Florida at number 7. Or sorry, the Gorillas at number 7.
Not crazy.
Now,
Fucking blasted.
I gotta be honest. Like, I do agree. I think that they could realistically be anywhere between 7th and 11th. If I'm being honest, most of these teams in that range could beat each other. Mainly put them there because they did beat they did beat Toronto. I don't know, man. I think that they play Paris. They probably beat Paris as well. As weird as that is to say, it's just. Or I know Paris beat them, but I don't know, man. I think
They could go either way.
I think that it absolutely could go either way depending on maps and stuff, but I don't know, man. At this very moment, it just feels like because push came to shove between that Toronto and Gorillas match, like you were saying, and I feel like that's really what put Toronto down in my power rankings versus up, is when it came down to that push comes to shove, and it was that match to see who's getting in winner's bracket, and Gorillas wins over Toronto, it just puts them above for me right now. It's just hard. It's hard for me to put anybody in that area when Gorillas has a better record as well than them right now. It's just, I don't know. It's just how it is for me.
It's understandable.
Zach, give me your number 11 because yours is still up here.
My number 11 is the Surge. It's again going off what I said before. My 9 to 11, they could flip flop. I just didn't like just how the Surge played at all this week. Wasn't really entertained. Wasn't really impressed by anything. Yeah, that's all I really got on the Surge.
I'm a scoop in here. Surge, I've also got Surge sitting at number 10, so just one little higher than you. Yeah, just not very impressed. Like I said, I'm selling out on this team already.
Yeah, mine's short and sweet. Seattle's number 11 for me. Just they're not doing it for me. They're not doing well. Hardly doing anything. It's like
you said short and sweet. I thought you were just gonna say they're number 11.
no, they're number 11.
I love that Zarin still has Seattle higher than all of us. That's the best part.
Yeah, so I got Seattle at 9, but I mean, the only reason is I think they're still better than Florida and LA, but this team is just so annoying to watch. They're so up and down. They're frustratingly inconsistent.
fan.
I
Gunless
don't
looks
know
really good.
Yeah, Gunless looks fantastic, but everybody else is like, holy shit. I mean, this team, there's something wrong. I think Seattle is cursed. We're in 2 seasons in now. They have like 3 matches won in the last like 9 months or something. I don't know. I'm making that
Are
up.
you
But
saying
like,
you saying they're sinking with the ship?
yes, exactly.
they're
Point
going
is,
away with the tide.
they are falling into the Pacific Ocean. I don't think they're swimming back up.
I can keep coming up with these all day long. All right, James,
Yeah.
give me your number 10.
My number 10, I have Toronto. Like I said when we were talking about Gorillas, they didn't win when they needed to. So I have to have them at number 10.
Toronto, I got at number 9. So I mean, just a little bit of a flip flop there again. They lost to both Paris and LA, man. It's hard to put them above them.
Yeah, I dropped Toronto to number 7. I mean, I can agree with you guys.
How many spots did they drop for you?
They were at 3rd, so they dropped 4. So I mean, I think they're still a better team. I think they just had a down week, and that's kind of the reason I dropped them. Kind of the reason why I had Empire at 6. I think they had a down week. But
Empire's down week was losing one match 3-2.
exactly.
Oh, that was last week's there, and that was the last power rank he's talking about.
Okay. Yeah, I was like, whoa, okay. I have Toronto at 7. I still think they're a very good team. I think they could easily be number 4. But they
got to start clutching up.
They got to start clutch. They lost to 2 very mediocre teams. They have the potential, though. I still think right now, honestly, it's 1-6.
And then
Toronto,
7-12.
Toronto,
You're not wrong.
No, I think Toronto is 7 by themselves, and then it's 8-12 because like I think Toronto they're so close to figuring things out. Once they're able to clutch these situations, 2 Game 5 losses, I think they can easily be a top 6, definitely top 4 team. I believe in them. They stay at 7.
I put Toronto at number 9, like I said, and I'm gonna tell you why. You're not wrong when you say that they're the number 7 team, and I think they are too. I'm putting them at number 9 to let it fire under their ass. Ain't none of them listening to our damn podcast. But you know what? Screw that. Y'all are playing like doo-doo. Smarten the fuck up. That's all I'm gonna say right now. All right, I'm gonna come in with my number 8, and they surprised me, man. I'm coming with Paris Legion at number 8. They could even be higher on this list. I almost put them above the Gorillas, but I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it this time. But Paris, man, they're right there.
Yeah, Paris, I have slotted at number 6 right now. I think they just played really well, and I think like I looked at Paris, and I didn't even look at their 2 wins. I looked at how well they played FaZe. Like you gotta look at it through the map, like the map counts that they had. Like 1 round on the second map, the Checkmate S&D. 1 round they win that, and they can 3-0 FaZe. Like. I think this team played very well this week, and I think if they can play not necessarily to the equal level, but to somewhat the level they played this week, they're going to be a very good team in this league.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same. I looked at the same matches. I actually have Paris at number 7. The fact that they did push FaZe to a Game 5, and the fact that they did take advantage of Toronto when Toronto had no excuse for losing that series, based on, especially like we said, after that ace by Methods for the Swift 6-0.
That was such a nice damn play.
Like Paris, it did knock them down. They got right back up and they fought to the end. And then it's not saying much, but they also 3-0'd Florida earlier in the week. So there is that. So I have them at number 7.
Really well this week.
All right.
I also have Paris at 8 along with Jesse. Fuck, man. I've been hard on this team since day one. I've been hard on this team since day one of last year.
Wait. Does it have to change from what's wrong with Paris to what's wrong with London?
I think so. I mean,
just switch the European country.
Yeah, this is a team that they didn't have a roster until like December. They waited so long to pick up this team, and when they finally did, everyone was scratching their heads like, what the hell are they doing?
They're a weird team, but they work. I don't know.
Yeah, they are the weirdest team, but they are working right now. They very, very impressive last week. Can they continue this into the major? Remains to be seen, but they have impressed me enough to move them up to number 8.
We'll just have to wait and find out. Well, guys, we have all of ours. We basically have shown our bottom 6 right now, except for one person who has their number 8 spot open. So Zach, go ahead, throw it to us. Who's in your number 8?
I have Rocker at my number 8. I mean, it's again, I don't. It's no disrespect to the Rocker. I mean, I think they're from the matches where I saw it. Some matches they looked really well, really good, and then other matches it's like it wasn't the same team. So it's kind of until I can see that more balance and consistency out of the team, that's when I'll have them higher up on my board. But that's kind of like that's the main reason I have them slotted at 8. It's just because I've seen them play great games and then or a great series and then come out and just play like meh series.
All right. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I say I can't fully agree with putting them below two teams with records that are 2-3, and who is the other team that you have them underneath? You have them under Toronto as well, who's 1-4. So I can't fully agree with doing that. And I think that the reason that they are 3-2 right now is because they're in a very, very tough group with Dallas, LA, and New York, who are all top 5 teams right now. So I don't know. I got Minnesota's at number 6 right now. I think they played very well considering the group that they were in.
I have Minnesota at number 6. They what they need, I think their biggest problem is what they need to do is really simple yet really complex. You need to learn to beat good teams because they 3-0'd Seattle and I believe they 3-0'd who was it? London.
They did 3-2
Congratulations.
Empire.
Right. But they also got 3-0'd by New York. So
and
there's
bad,
also that.
And bad.
Like badly. So it's such a simple concept of beat better teams, which is obviously way easier said than done. But I think they hold steady at number 6 for me.
That's exactly the point I was going to make. You got to win those big matches in order to be put in that top tier conversation. They didn't do that this week. They played decent against Dallas. They forced the game 5, obviously, but they beat the teams they needed to. So credit to them. They right now they're the 6th best team. They're playing like the 6th best team, and that's about it.
All right. Well, Zarin, I'm gonna keep the floor on you right now. Give me your number 5.
Number 5, I got New York. I think this is pretty much a unanimous number 5 between all of us. They're not quite there yet, but as we were talking about before, they have something figured out here. They've competed against these good teams. Obviously, that crushing Game 5 to Dallas, they got reverse swept. That's tough, but they were right on the verge of beating that team, and I think they can. I think they're going to give any top 3, top 4 team right now a massive headache when they play each other.
If I'm
Glacier
optic,
looks
I'm
fantastic.
scared in round 1 a little
Absolutely. I am fucking terrified if I'm playing New York in any
bit.
round.
New York just has the fire right now, and
yeah.
not the player, but the spirit. That's for sure. But I got New York also coming in at number 5. I think, like you said, it was unanimous. So I'm gonna click up everybody's here. I couldn't. I couldn't agree more. I think New York. They're just on that outside looking in. I think they could even continue to compete with Thieves and with Dallas and like I don't know. Like we said, they were in a really tough group as well. They were able to pick off 3 of their 3 matches, and I mean, I don't know, man. Like I said, they look good. It's just gonna come down to what they're able to do against these better teams as well.
Yeah, I have them at 5 mainly because the same idea as having Minnesota at 6. They won the matches they needed to, and then the biggest match they needed to against Dallas, yeah, they got reverse swept, but they still took it to 5 maps. So they hung in there to an extent. So for that reason, yeah, I think 5 is the best spot for them right now. And then going into next week, I might think they go up even 1 spot.
Yeah, I have Subliners at 5. They're on the cusp. A team looking outside, looking in on the top 4. In all honesty, like the series against Dallas, if you go back and look at it, they were up, I think 2-0 in the control.
2-0 in the series, 2 in the control.
Yeah, and I think it just came down to I think Hook popped a 3-piece on the raid control, and I think that's what kind of turned the tide. Like you look at it, that doesn't happen. They 3-0 Dallas, and everyone's kind of shook that Dallas gets 3-0 by New York. But obviously that didn't happen. Dallas won, but yeah, I think the best spot for this team would be at number 5.
I completely agree, and I'm gonna go with my number 4 here. And at number 4, I got the LA Thieves. I mean, I didn't. My top 4 are very similar to last week. Like I said, I think LA is good. I just don't think that they're on the same level as the top 3 teams right now still. And I think we saw that tonight when they played Dallas.
Yeah, I have LA at number 4 as well. And I was watching the game against Dallas, and like So Slasher and Kenny were performing, like they were holding their own. I think the one guy who was kind of slacking was 10. You look at his KD. I think he was almost double negative in the first hard point. I think he was negative negative by 7 in like the control. Like it did not look good. And I think like you need to have that consistent fourth if you're going to compete against high teams like that.
He's the X factor. He's going to need to show up in these big matches.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead, James.
I was just say same reasoning. I have LA in fourth. They should have done a lot better against Dallas. Like I said earlier in the podcast, I had them taking it 3-2. So I think they had a really bad series, but I think they deserve the number 4 spot.
Yeah, I won't say much else. You guys kind of all hit it on the head. I mean, I have LA Thieves likewise at 4, but this is a very, very solid team. I think this team has the capability of winning champs.
I think they're just going to get better as the year goes along as well.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. This is a team that can, I think they can beat any one of the top teams right now. Obviously, they got smoked by Dallas, but
Dallas is playing unreal though too.
Yeah, you head back to the drawing board, regroup. This team is very, very good. They can become the number 1 team. I do believe that, but right now it's that they're playing like the number 4 team.
I think the scariest part about this team is that LA, the players that are on this team always get better as the year goes along as well. Especially Slasher teams always get so good. Yeah. So if they're already started off this good, like he normally starts off as like a top 8 team. If he's starting off this year as a top 4 team, I'm scared for a month from now, if I'm being completely honest.
Oh yeah.
Zarin, go ahead though, take it away. Give me your number 3.
Got Dallas. I mean, my determining factor was, of course, this being recorded on Sunday night, was this Dallas LA Thieves matchup. LA Thieves wins. I got them at number 3. Dallas comes out with the win, and they absolutely smoked them too. So going with Dallas, they're very, very good. I don't think at this very moment that they're at the level of Chicago and Atlanta, but literally it's so close. They could definitely beat either of those teams. They just need to organize themselves a little bit better.
At my number 3, making it into the my top 3 for the first time this year, I got the Dallas Empire.
Fucking idiot.
And honestly, Zarin, you hit the nail on the head. Like came down to this last match for me as well. And, yeah, the head on the nail on the head. I'm so tired. I was at work all day. No, they outperformed LA, so and they deserve that 3rd spot. I don't think they're catching up to the 1 and 2 right now, though.
This guy is so lucky I wasn't on the podcast week 1.
Oh bro, don't worry. I gave it to him for you. I literally said on the podcast, I said Zarin would agree with me on every point I said. I literally looked at the camera. It was like 6. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's brutal. Anyway.
Yeah, I have Dallas at number 3. Same reason. The last match on Sunday. I will say the fact that Dallas almost lost to London shouldn't have happened. I just want to throw that there. Not even taking it into consideration. But yeah, I think number 3 is where they belong right now.
Oh, me and James were watching that match, and we were both.
I'm gonna be dead ass. I think that Dallas was practicing bad maps against London, and that's why they got only 1-3-2. If I'm being completely honest, I don't think Dallas. I think they're too smart to show their big strategies off the bat. I think Dallas has a very good chance of winning this major. I'm going to be honest. I think Dallas has a very good chance still of winning this major. I'm totally fucking bought into this team. Hook is unreal at this game. He is so fucking good. It is crazy. I've got Dallas at number 3, but I will not be surprised if these guys win the major next week, and I will not be surprised if Hook is MVP because he's fucking unreal at this game. I can't, dude.
Like Hook is MVP when you have Shoxy. Like, that's a scary thing to say.
Dude, he is output like dude, I'm gonna just throw up the stats one more time really quick. Just hard point stats really quick here. Hook, 2.27 kills a game, like per 10 minutes. 1.25 hard point KD. Like what? Sir, you need to calm the fuck down. He's
back-to-back weeks. He's the KD leader overall.
Yeah, like he I don't know, man. He's played unreal. And then like Control KD, he's also sent out a 1.33. Like that's just unreal for Control, and especially in a game mode where lives really really matter. So I don't know, man. He's just running rampant. He doesn't have to run a trophy this year, and it's showing how damn good he is at this freaking game. I'm gonna go number 2. Optic Chicago. They lost to FaZe. It's tough to put them above them. I think they're good. I think that they could be number one. It's just I think any of these top 4 teams, it's any given Sunday, whoever beats each other.
Absolutely.
That's
Yeah.
that's it right there.
That's
Yeah.
kind of my only reason they lost to FaZe.
Those two, I agree with you, Jesse. Like the top 4, they can flip flop. I think obviously Atlanta being number 1.
Everybody's top
Optic
5
and-
were exactly
yeah.
the same for all of us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is so tight. The competition, I gotta give these teams credit. They made it so much tighter than last year. Obviously, we had some really, really, really bad teams last year, but this year it almost feels like the top 10 at the very least can kind of scare each other a little bit. I mean, London even, who's 12 on all of our power rankings, have given teams scares. They almost beat Dallas. They almost beat, I believe it was Atlanta last week or the week before. Unless that was New York, I might be mistaken. Nevertheless, they've scared some teams, and I think the competition this year is just so tight, and I'm loving it. But right now, Optic and I think Atlanta are really just on their own plateau until Dallas and LA can really fine tune their game.
So we obviously know our top 5s are all the same. I just want to say one thing about Atlanta really quick. It's scary. Like you saying it's scary how some of these teams can challenge and how competitive the league is. I found it scary that Abizi went 2-10 in a search and destroy, and Atlanta still won that search and destroy.
Well, I mean, to be fair, Atlanta is one of those teams where they have 4 absolute superstars on their team. So if one's not performing, they're going to be able to pop off and still win a map.
Abizi's the guy. It's like first blood machine, search and destroy, first blood, and then him knocking those first blood. You're like, what's going to happen? Like obviously, like
it's like what we talked about. Yeah, it's like what we talked about last week on the podcast. Abizi has his simp, Hook has his Shotzi. If one of them doesn't go off, the other one will, and you're totally fine.
The next game after that, I think Simp started off 12-2.
Yeah, Simp had a really, really bad game too. One of his games, I think it was the control. He had a really, really rough control, and then came out at the hard point and dropped almost 40, and then and it was clutched up a 3-piece in map 5 to secure that map for them too.
Yeah, being called the Tiny Terrors, like they've been pros long enough to where like they run around like cracked out little kids, yet have the composure enough of vets to
they're insane. It's
so good.
Yeah. I think Atlanta's undisputed number 1 right now. I don't think there's any argument anybody can make.
No, I mean they beat the next best team, and that's good enough reason.
Did you see the thing they tweeted out earlier today? It was a picture of them and Optic like high-fiving each other. And they were like, yo, the plan came through. don't drop a series to anybody but each other. And then the handshake emoji was hilarious.
That's good.
Yeah, I definitely think those are our number 1 and number 2 teams right now. Only thing I'm worried about with Chicago is I feel like they might end up choking in the major, low key.
Yeah.
What they usually do.
Yeah. Hey, they're consistent.
All right, but anyways, guys, that's probably about gonna do it for us on the podcast today. You guys have any closing remarks before we send it off?
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say. So we talked about the first week about the layout of how their matches going like Thursday through Sunday, and how we liked it kind of being in shorter spurts, not having to watch 12 matches a day. Well, I really, after this week watching all this Call of Duty, I thought I was going to be kind of run down by it. I had so much fun watching this, and I cannot wait to actually watch a real tournament.
Starting
next Wednesday. Like, I'm so excited for it. So I just can't wait for that.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, like, the one thing I will say, it just sucks that it's not Atlanta. Obviously, we love seeing the crowds. We love hearing the crowds. It just adds so much more. I honestly think if this season's played on LAN, Optic is the best team.
Probably.
And Dallas is probably right there behind them. The fans love them. It's just so different with the whole online dynamic.
I agree with you. I wish it was on LAN, because if it was on LAN and they played that one song, everybody
in the crowd's yelling "Skirt." Oh my god! My favorite thing about LAN is when they got the snipers out, which I mean I hope they bring back with this new update. But my favorite thing about snipers is when they got it out and you can see them start to line them up and everybody's like, oh, I love it. Definitely my favorite thing.
I ask you always one thing: do you have any surprises, like any surprise upsets for the the major coming up.
Well, we'll talk about that on our major prediction episode coming up later in this week.
They'll just
Yeah.
have to tune in.
And more betting time with Zarin Todd.
Yeah, we haven't gotten your segment with the poker chips falling down the
Hey.
top
Okay,
yet.
we'll do that this week.
Get your notebooks ready. You'll be taking notes.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Darren, I gotta get an audio clip of you saying I'm feeling lucky.
It's basically like homework time with Zarin Cod. All right, guys, that's going to do it for us here today. Thank you guys again all so much for watching. Make sure you guys do follow us on all of our social platforms above here. All of our social links will be in the description below. You guys can follow us anywhere. I think we're going to get this up on Spotify this week, hopefully. I think our account has been secured, so check for the podcast on Spotify this week. Again, guys, thank you guys all so much for watching, and we will see you guys later.